right. I don't know, man. It's not really what I was expecting. I was expecting VicLa to play a whole lot better, but that's not what this series has been about. Outside of, I guess, VicLa later on in these games.
Game 3 specifically.
Yeah, very specifically. But also Clear being able to pick up that quadra kill on his Cassante. Like Clear, even in the LCK Cup, was relatively quiet in comparison to VicLa that was stealing the show and Diable, who is always just a psychopath. Let's see how this one is going to change as we get into pick and ban for game number 4. The Orianna and the Xin Zhao are both going to continue to be banned, as the Lucian going to be taken away, as Diable is a ridiculous Lucian player, and a good idea to get rid of that one.
Yeah, so the question is, will they leave Azir up? You know, you talked about VicLa, his comfort on Akali. That is an option. You could leave the Azir up to try to dare them, look for the Akali matchup. That's something that they can think about. We were talking about this, and so that is going to be the option that they do. They leave the Azir up, and I think that's what they're doing. They're saying, all right, I dare you, pick it, I'll play Akali. But Knight is also going to be happy to take the other side of that. That's the other thing, is that Knight is a player who can play these aggressive matchups too. So instead, they're just going to ignore it, and they are going to go early Lulu. So then you're kind of daring them to, okay,
take away the Yunara.
Exactly. Like, take away the Yunara. Are you willing to take away the Yunara? If not, you know, where will they go? Because Jinx is gone. You know, we could go like Lulu Aphelios or something like that if they take it away. So I do think Lulu early here is quite strong. And if neither mid laner in these first couple picks is willing to slam the Azir, then you could go Azir on 3 and then do protection bans. So it gets a little bit weird, right? Where it's like, okay, you don't want to maybe first round it, but then if BLG don't pick Azir now, VicLa can go Azir on 3 and then ban out, you know, the Akali or the Yone or whatever you're concerned about in the next round. So now I feel like BLG, they almost have to go Azir a little bit more. Like, you don't have to, but I mean, it becomes more valuable here for BFX after this round.
Well, Sivir Lulu is going to be the option here for Viper and On. And I quite like that. A lot of DPS out of a Sivir. And then we'll just have to see what else we're going to get.
Thinking. And then, yeah, the question is, does BFX go Azir on 3? Do they decide to take it away for BLG?
Do you punish a blind Gnar?
Exactly. Are you going to try to go and punish that? Well, you know, honestly, it's like a lot of the picks I would think of. I was going to say Yorick would be the only one that I would think is kind of in his pool that he would be looking for as a counter, because obviously Gwen is banned, Jax is gone, and so this would be pretty exciting. It will be a very different look. Been smacked Clear in game 1, but Clear did great in these last couple games. Was looking solid. Yorick can be a tough matchup for Gnar. It's really all about hitting the Morning Mist. How many E's can you hit? When Gnar is in mini, it can be pretty tough. You can get whittled down by these ghouls, by the harass, and post 6, your trades become very valuable.
And Kellin is a very famous Renata player. This guy has been brilliant on this champion.
But look, what are you picking when you...
Yeah, I don't know why.
You could just spell shield it.
Yeah.
And like I think Yunara with Renata is a good pairing. I think Renata is incredibly good when they are showing dive, but we are not showing dive at all.
We're showing let's not team fight ever.
Exactly. So we're showing split push and wave clear, right? Yeah. And so I do always worry about Renata's effectiveness when you are not playing against A, an engaged support in lane, and B, just an engaged comp in general. We'll see. Maybe they're saying, you know what, BLG are going to have to draft some stuff that's going to be effective into regardless. Like maybe they're expecting Shun and Knight to pick relatively low range picks. Syndra are going to be targeted. Azir still not banned, so we'll see if either team are concerned about it. Of course, you can try to go it here on 4 if you want. And, you know, some of these mid-lane bans are just targeting Knight, so potentially protecting for that. Or maybe Azir's just going to get completely ignored, but I'd be very surprised if it gets completely ignored through the second phase.
I would expect so too. I think that it's something that needs a little bit of a look in at least. I think, for me, like, Galio right now is standing out a lot. Shun going to have his Kindred banned away. Nice little shout out there. But one final ban here on the side of BLG. And then we'll just have to see what BNK are going to go for as far as this 4th pick, because that'll really shape what this composition is going to look like. I think that both teams with bottom lane and top side locked in, Gnar can be used as a side lane champ as well. You don't necessarily have to go team fight after this, but if I see a Maokai locked in, then we know what we're going to get, right?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And so it is going to be Victor. So Azir will be left up still. Both teams kind of just playing that game of chicken a little bit with the
Azir
chicken
and Gnar is
emperor.
actually a pretty powerful combination as well.
Yeah, it really can be. It does synergize well, but clearly at this point you are thinking, all right, like they are leaving it up because they want me to pick it, because he has a counter pick that he's going to look to slam. And while VicLa was very effective in last game, the 1v1s have not gone his way.
No.
It is fair to say. So would be a little bit more nervous, I think, to be blinding that.
I think the Trundle's an interesting one. This stops Bin from, well, actually, he's already locked in his champion, so never mind. It stops Shun from playing a tank jungler,
it does.
I guess.
It does. I mean, we're also just getting further down the tier list. You have to play an AD jungler. That's just pro League of Legends now. It's basically only Yone and then all APs. So if you want to play an AP, you need an AD jungler to be able to pair alongside that.
Ooh, some smoke and mirrors here from Knight. Yet more things that you don't want to be playing Renata into.
Yeah, that would be unfortunate, but it does at least mean that it is blind. So now you have the opportunity to try to pivot here. You know, if you want to go for a different answer, a different counter, you could look towards that, which would be cool to see if VicLa wanted to go. A lot of people talk about some of these counters, you know, things like Malzahar, Lissandra, and, you know, so on and so forth. We could just see a completely standard mid lane matchup, but it does at least open the door when you're blinding something like the LeBlanc. Little Zahungle?
Yeah, interested to see what's going to happen here. That Maokai that I was talking about before is a consideration on the BLG side instead.
Yeah, and it's still like, look how low commitment they are. They saw Renata and they say, oh, you want us to fight? Well, that's funny. Just going to be able to press. Okay, so we are going to get Galio as the answer in LeBlanc. I like this. I like it even more so than Lissandra and whatnot that I was talking about. I will say there's not really a great delivery system. Your hard engage is, I guess, Gnar getting behind them and then you Galio ult in.
Trundle wander in. We actually... we saw
the
a similar
deadly pillar.
Yeah, we saw like during the time where it was Orianna Nocturne all the time. Canyon actually came up with the Trundle Orianna, which was you put the ball on Trundle and then he flashes into the enemy team and then they all get shockwave.
It's so funny how much more we've seen this year of that. I've been seeing so much of that, not even just specifically with the Trundle, but with Xin and with all these champs. People like, oh, it turns out you can just flash the shockwave in on anyone.
Just be there.
Yeah.
And, you know, Faker did show us that.
Anyone can be Nocturne as long as you believe in yourself enough.
Exactly. We've all got a light switch at home.
Yeah.
You just switch that back and forth and then play whatever you want.
Exactly.
Easy peasy.
Lock it in.
I'm not sure about this draft from BNK FEARX, though. I think that the Renata is really throwing me through a loop.
I don't like Renata at all, but both the comps are pretty atypical. The soul laners on the other side are Yorick and LeBlanc, right? So it's not exactly your most standard game of League of Legends. Both teams have really powerful scaling bot lanes as far as, you know, high DPS carry. I do think it could be difficult with the Renata, but at the same time, you can just kind of walk forward with Trundle pillars and play it slow, right? They don't necessarily have to full send it. And if you are first to an area, then all of a sudden face checking into Trundle and to Renata, into Galio taunt, like that becomes a lot more difficult. And if you get hit by any sort of CC, like if LeBlanc does get taunted up, well, all of a sudden then you're hit by Handshake and Hostile Takeover and all of these tools. So we'll have to find out how the early game is going to go here.
Yep. As so far, they're just checking one another out. Minions taking a little while to get here, but they'll be here pretty soon.
They will, and this time Knight is the one who gets chunked out a little bit here at level 1.
Wow, that's the evolution?
It is.
VicLa will finally get that solo kill here in game number 4.
The year of VicLa is just getting better and better.
Yeah, it's certainly improving.
Yeah,
and it started off really strong in the LCK Cup as well. But there were certainly some moments where I looked like I had egg on my face when I was saying how great he was, and then we went into games and he didn't didn't have every day that was working out. But we
not every day can be a good day.
You don't need to have every day.
You need the bad to appreciate the good.
Exactly.
You know?
If you don't like him at his worst, then you don't deserve him when he wins worlds. You know? And that's what we're going to be talking about later, is what I assume.
Of course.
As right now, Knight and VicLa are just trading damage over and over. I think Knight is going to have a fine time, but VicLa should be able to weather the storm.
Wouldn't it be something if VicLa won Worlds before Chovy?
Oh, God. Before GTA 6?
Yeah. That truly would be the year of VicLa.
Yeah, that'd be too much. Then it needs
to become official.
I mean,
it's not like some people have days. He needs to get a year, you know?
It was already weird enough when Zeka won Worlds before Chovy. We don't need to go any further than that.
We've gone too far. Yeah, I apologize.
We've gone too far already in history.
Okay, yeah.
As Clear is put into the Ghoulie Wall. Are you a fan of Ghoulie Wall?
It's a first hearing it from me.
Yeah, you don't know the Ghoulie Wall? That's what I like to call that ability. Because the name of it just isn't really... It doesn't really tell me Ghoulie Wall things.
The cage. I don't know what it is.
Well, there's a pillar, and Bin is in a really uncomfortable position now. That pillar placement was amazing as he flashes out of the ring of ghouls. And Bin is now just going to have to try and get himself out of here. Teleports away, and that is going to get him to safety. But
look at the wave.
It's going to mean that he's going to have a little bit of trouble, with this minion wave.
Yeah, the wave is really bad. So I'm kind of surprised he didn't just flash the pillar. Honestly, I feel like that would have worked out way better. You can also just self-cage, in these situations where you just walk back towards your tower and it's Trundle. You drop the cage on your head against the wall somewhat, and it's like, what are they going to do? Flash into the cage? Like, you should be able to get out, but we'll see if VicLa...
Yeah, VicLa is going to channel the taunt here. It does taunt up the tree, but is now running the wrong direction. So I think it might be another First Blood scenario, this time going... Never mind. Okay, Justice Punch. VicLa is wandering.
Buddy. Don't speak too soon.
He's wandering. Oh no, the sapling. Run! Run, Galio! Is it going to hit? It does. He's slowed down, and there is the twisted advance. A very delayed First Blood, but once again, VicLa is on the floor.
But Knight didn't even get an assist, so now you just call jungle diff.
Oh, value. Exactly. That's the progression. He dies again, but not to his lane opponent.
It's the jungler's fault. Raptor, come on, bro. Knight didn't even get an assist. What are you talking about?
Wait, he just delivered Shun to the top lane, and now Clear is dead. What is that? Okay, and Bin is able to get himself out to safety. That's absurd. Beautifully played here. The Yorick picks up the kill, but that one was all about the Maokai.
Yeah, I've never seen such good jungle pathing from a mid laner.
I know. That's why it's his year.
Exactly.
He can do everything.
He can do everything. He can even jungle path for the enemy jungler.
Exactly.
We've heard about shot calling for your own team. What about shot calling for the other team?
I'm not even in comms, man.
Buddy, look how easy it would be to kill Clear. Come on up. I'll show you.
Hold my hand. It's just over here.
Follow me. Let's go find Gnar.
Oh, goodness. Well, here they are. They found him. Put him into the Dark Procession. Do you like Dark Procession? Ghoulie Wall. They're your options.
Ghoulie Wall is better than Dark Procession.
Yeah, see? Yeah. I told you.
Yeah.
Big fan. Okay, well, now the beginning disasters aren't necessarily as bad as game one, but I put them between
It's where we end.
Exactly. It's about whose Nexus explodes.
Yeah.
And right now, it's looking like BNKs are the ones in the most danger. However, it is early games, and they were early times, and those were weird situations.
The before times.
The before times, indeed.
Yeah. Well, Bin, he does have a kill, and Shun has a kill, so they are out to a nice little gold lead on their side, 1.2k in the advantage. I really want to see Viper have a better game, though, because it is weird to watch him make some of these mistakes, and to watch him last game with this massive gold lead on the Zeri, one of the champions we were talking about. It's even in solo queue and in pro for sure, when Zeri gets ahead, you often just feel like, well, that's kind of that. Like, let's go next. You're not going to be able to deal with it.
It's the most inevitable champion that we've had. Like, you get a lead and you just win the game.
Death, taxes, Zeri.
Yep.
There you go.
That's how it goes. It seems like Knight also going up towards his top side. And Raptor is going to turn up as well, so it's going to be a 2v2. That dive was a little early from Bin as Clear is looking to try and chase him. There is the heroic entrance as well as now VicLa turns up, but Clear is out of this fight. The Knight is flashing away, didn't want to get taunted, as there is the Maiden one more time. Bin just going to be wandering his way out. They don't want this fight. They are just going to disengage.
Yep, going to be able to back off. Nice roam there from VicLa to cover and also force the flash off of Knight. But at the end of the day, Bin keeps the Maiden alive, walks out, and now they're going to be able to try to turn this into a nice little invade. Yorick definitely can help kill these camps off very quick, and getting the blue buff is honestly really, really nice here for Shun. Just be able to take that away, hit 6, and does have that 6 a little bit early as a result.
Yep, Nature's Grasp, pretty powerful as well, so hitting 6, kind of the goal here for the Maokai, so nailing that one. as on some supportal combat here towards this bottom side of the map. Kellin finding some angles there with a nice handshake, but Diable will turn up. Non is just going to get himself out.
Yep, we'll have to back off at the end of the day, but they crashed the wave, so VicLa is going to be happy about that. Has enough gold for the BF, so goes back, has a good buy. Diable here just on call, as well as the early upgraded boots, and Clear just going to continue pushing. And does have to get those early steel caps. Unfortunately for him, did not get them. And Raptor is now behind him, but Shun does have the Nature's Grasp, is in the area, could respond to this. Yeah,
you've actually seen that VicLa's found him already. You have a look on the minimap. So they do spot out the tree and look to move away. Raptor and VicLa now looking for this Scuttle Crab at night in good position. Does dash on forward, finds some chains. We've got fights on multiple angles, though, as the Gnar comes through onto Bin. And now you've got Kellin roaming up as well. Let's see whether he can find himself an angle, as Raptor going to be the first target here for BLG. But the King's Tribute, the subjugation working out so well. Knight finally will be able to take him down, as Kellin turns up but isn't able to offer too much of anything at all at level 5. And BNK just lose another one.
Yep, and that is really nice by BLG. They had the earlier push, they had the faster recall and roam from on. He arrives, and BFX, no, they can't really do anything there. They just have to run away. Raptor was able to live quite a long time, but I think mostly because Shun was hoping to give that kill away. He didn't actually want to take it himself, so they are able to do that. And at the end of the day, it's 2K gold lead here at 8 minutes for BLG. This one's feeling a lot more similar to game 1 and 2, but of course game 2, BFX did end up winning regardless. And it kind of feels like as long as Diable is in a decent spot, you have a chance, right?
Is Diable alive? Chance we have. Yeah,
exactly. That's the code.
Indeed.
Yeah.
And right now he is, but he's in this bottom lane. Let's see what he can make of this, though, as the Arc of Judgment comes down. Decent polymorph there from On, but I think he knows that he's going to be going down. Hostile takeover, not really working, though, and there's the Wild Growth onto himself. Viper now in a little bit of trouble, but he stands his ground and does get a bit of work done, and Diable unable to find it in the 2v2.
Yeah, Kellin clearly wanted to go really aggressive in onto Viper. He went for the R flash, tries to get the hostile takeover onto him, but he couldn't find an angle to hit On, and maybe if he had been able to hit both of them, they could have finished off that kill, but still, they do get a couple summoners off of On, but it is in trade for 3 of their own. So not the best trade at the end of the day, though it does seem pretty fine.
Yep, I'll be okay. Gonna look for a reset now. And Clear underneath this turret once again. I imagine every time he is under a turret, he is feeling a little bit frightened because he has been ganked quite a few times by BLG, and it's been quite successful for them. I'm still interested in how this is going to look as we get later on into the game, though, because I imagine like 4-1, 1-3-1, that is kind of what BLG are looking for. Yeah. And BNK want to do everything they can to get team fights around Diable, right? Protect the President is what this is going to be all about. Yep. So convincing BLG to stop killing their side lane turrets is going to be their task.
It will. First Dragon going to be taken of the game. This one kind of late, so not going to be a super fast soul or anything like that. I'll also say I really do not like that Shun is going AP this game. I know that it is really, really common, but I just think when you have LeBlanc, LeBlanc should only be on a team with solo AP. That is kind of just my take, is that you never want to make building MR valuable for a team against LeBlanc. You don't want people to have even any MR. You want them to be taking so much damage. You want LeBlanc to be able to stack a flat pen and really put on pressure. And so I do think it makes less sense for Shun to be going for this Leandries. I feel like just kind of a supportive tank style build would have been more effective. But because he's against the Trundle, I guess he feels, hey, I can't build tank. I need to go AP.
It's like the two things are working against one another. You know, you don't want to be building AP with LeBlanc, but you also don't want to be building it as a tank. So maybe you just shouldn't have built items.
There you go. You could,
AD. Should have built AD.
You just build support items, which are just OP.
There it is, as Diable's found an ulti once again.
Nice
but On is just going to cruise his way out of there, on the hunt there for Viper. So it's a trade of ultimates.
Gets a move speed from Viper, sidesteps the zap, and as a result, not slowed up, is going to stay safe. Yeah, I think just going with Zeeks and stuff is just always good. The support items are so OP to me. You know, the kind of builds we see on Malphite and whatnot, I feel like can fit on Maokai in a game like this, because you also have no true frontline, and you still do have Sivir. You need to have champions making space for Sivir. You can send the Yorick kind of forward, but Yorick doesn't really just want to walk in first and die. And lose the Maiden, so could be a bit harder for Viper, who I think has struggled to find space.
Well, Viper is looking for a little bit of an angle here. Aggressively uses the barrier as they look to try and get this Lulu out of there. The flash out, but the flash forward from Diable as he locks down the kill. The immediate trade, though, comes comes in as Knight says, no, this is not a 2v2, buddy.
Nope.
And they lie on the floor. 2 extra members of support coming on through, but the cross map is there for BNK as they look to take down some plates in mid.
Yeah, they do get 2 kills, 4-1, but it is, again, Diable getting a kill back in a 2v4. Essentially, at the end of the day, they got the TP off of Knight. They take some plates mid. Knight, though, going to be able to farm up some plates on the bot side. And again, it is BLG starting off this fight. They have the TP coming in. They have Shun coming in behind. Viper's able to sidestep that hostile takeover, gets the wild growth. Could have just played it a little bit more careful once again. All you need to do is back up a little bit early there. The Nature's Grasp is coming in from Shun, but underestimating the damage of Diable. Diable is going to take those skill checks 10 times out of 10. He loves those kind of fights. So if you challenge him, he will go for it. He trades his flashes, gets a kill, and Viper does not walk away with one. So it is still a very nice lead here for BLG.
Yep.
Very heavily focused on mid-jungle, but Diable still getting paid.
And you saw it in the coach cam as well. Danny wasn't exactly psyched about how that one went, even though they're sitting at 5-1 as far as the kill score is concerned. Almost a 3,000 gold lead here in this game. But they know that like, this is a composition that can come online later on in the game, and BNK can make it work. BLG, I think they have to finesse their way through this mid-game and create a really big lead for this one to really be one that can very easily be closed out, right? Like, I know Sivir great in the late game, but it's about the pieces moving around it that won't provide the same level of protection.
Exactly. I mean, you can either push forward onto the Sivir with a pillar, which is going to be pretty annoying, or if they're diving forward, you just pillar the Sivir out. And if Sivir doesn't have all of these tanks to create space for, it is going to be more difficult. And it's also now 3 out of 4 games where Viper has had all his teammates there, a pretty much guaranteed kill on Diable, and gone too far forward and made it a trade kill, given over a kill to Diable. That has happened almost every single game, which is just not something you want to see, even if it's a game that you're winning. As a coach, you're talking about constantly improving. And let's be honest, if BLG is to be the challenge for Gen.G, you got to play near perfect. Gen.G has just looked so bulletproof. I mean, really for years, but this year as well in the LCK. They only dropped, I think, 2 games in the entire LCK Cup.
Yeah, one of the games that they dropped was against BNK, but that's it. They have been near flawless. 6-1
in those across those 2 best-of-5s against this team that you are now down against. So if you are talking about BLG being that challenge to Gen.G, you're going to have to play at a higher level.
No. There's a really easy way to do it. You just convince Gen.G that it's the World Championship.
Well, you have to convince them not only that, because we've tried that before, but you have to convince them it's like finals or something.
Whoa, that's a flash forward. There's the handshake as he finds the hostile takeover. Never mind, flash out from On to avoid that one as now the pillar comes in. Great wild growth as Raptor has to flash to get himself out of the way. Viper is still very scary. The flash wizard advance comes in. The bailout isn't going to be enough. Yes, it is! As Knight is eaten by the Trundle. But the nature is grasping and they're looking to try and answer this one back. Viper with these ricochets is trying to take them out, and Diable, he survives for a while but doesn't even get to the blast cone as BLG will answer.
BLG do answer back there. That was really risky for a moment. When Raptor got that bailout, you just started to think, oh my god, are they actually going to win the fight here? VicLa going back in on, but you got no one around you, buddy.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that one, as Clear is going to show up, but he's back into Minina as he turns up, and Viper is getting another kill. 2-1 and 2 now on the Sivir. And I was saying that he may not necessarily be able to carry in the same way. Well, maybe I'm going to have to take that back. Yeah. This might be where he gets the redemption from the last few games.
Yep, going to be looking for it. And Shun fully committing to that AP build. Knight on 1.5 items here already. This is Diable just going hyper-aggressive. Flash in from Kellin with the handshake.
The polymorph was so good out of On.
The polymorph buying a lot of time there. And then Diable and Raptor are just on the run. As Knight comes forward, though, distorts in. I think he double tapped there, or maybe he felt like he had to go back into the Galio ult to get away from Diable. I'm not really sure. But the fact that he distorted back so early meant Raptor got the kill faster and got the bailout. Maybe he dies to Diable if he runs up, but I think at least the bailout doesn't come through to Raptor. At the end of the day, did not matter. BLG get the reinforcements, do win the fight, and Bin going to be able to knock down a tower here, so nearly 4,000 is the gold lead now.
Well, now Knight is going to have to deal with this pillar. Let's see whether he's going to be able to keep himself alive, and they just kill him. He was trying to be a little bit tricky there. But we're going to have a look at the comparison between VicLa and Knight here in our Coinbase Gold Grind. And it is looking pretty good for this LeBlanc, regardless of the fact that she just died.
Yep, maybe VicLa's year, but it's Knight's day. That supersedes.
That's beautiful. That's poetry right there.
Thank you, thank you.
As Raptor is going to be able to grab himself this Rift Herald.
Don't speak too soon, buddy.
Yeah, never mind.
They're coming.
He's going to keep hitting it, though.
I think you will be able to grab it, but Ben is coming as well. And Knight has no DP because he used it to try to get out.
I think maybe they want to find a team fight as a heroic entrance is going to deliver them in. That's phenomenal avoidance there out of Shun as Viper dashes his way back. He doesn't dash, he just wanders his way back. Doesn't have a whole lot of mana though, is now clear. Looking to try and get himself out, and that is the Rift Herald going over to BLG. So like you said, speaking too soon can be dangerous. I'm going to wipe the egg off my face and we will continue the game. As BNK lose out on the objective, but they do not lose any of their players this time around.
Nope, they do not, and they will be able to knock down this tower here. BLG getting another outer. Ben is up towards that top side, and VicLa is basing. There's no TPs available, so top side tower is going to be gone as well. Knight is up there to cover, so is Shun. So that is all three outers now going to be claimed here in quick succession by BLG. About 5K now in the gold lead, and 3.5 until this next dragon where they can continue their march in towards Seoul.
Yeah, this is the crazy thing because they're playing out this 1-3-1 so beautifully. This is how you have to do it. You have to keep the pressure up completely as Shun might be in a little bit of trouble here, but Knight is lying in wait. Viper with a decent spell shield there as well. BNK know that this map is very dark and there are a lot of very scary things waiting for them. They're not going to be pushing any further forward. Even Diable is not going to be pushing any further forward.
I don't believe you.
Well, he didn't in that moment. He probably will again.
Exactly. That's where I was going to try to get you with the semantics, you know? The technically correct. As Kellin does have a Mikhails, so it's going to be nice, obviously, for CC coming through from Shun, as well as Polymorph, which can be so big with how aggressively Diable likes to go. He will be in range of that. Oh.
There's a chain connecting onto Raptor. He gets a pillar down, though. As you can see, VicLa making his way in. Distortion does get Knight out of the way, though, so he is going to be absolutely fine. It was a little bit of a bait attempt, you could imagine, out of Raptor there. They do manage to get the Subjugate out of him, but this outer turret is going to fall, and BNK going to take a bit of a chunk out of that gold lead.
Yep, and that is an objective bounty, so those are up and available. You can see Clear's trying to push up through topside. Viper maintaining pressure in that mid lane, though. As Ben has moved down, he's taking a scuttle. And will continue to try to press the advantage. Though, yeah, closing that gold lead a little bit by about 1K. And it's all going to be, double scout slingshot buy from Diable. I don't know if that was intentional.
Maybe it is, though. Maybe, like, dual wielding. Hang on,
what does it mean?
They're a pretty two-handed weapon.
Hold them each with one hand and then put them both in his mouth. You know, pull it back with your head.
But honestly, even if he's just got one, what does he do with the harpoon gun?
That's true.
It's a bit perplexing.
Yeah. My immersion has been ruined.
Yeah,
that's the unrealistic part of League of Legends right there.
We did used to have like the classic static shiv rapid fire cannon type build. Maybe he wants to do like something like that.
Nope.
No, I don't think so. He just sold it. Okay.
Just sold it. And Viper with an Infinity Edge. Turns out that is better than the double scout slingshot build. So,
Diable agrees. That's why he went back to change the build.
Wait. You can just do that? You can just get an Infinity Edge like that?
Well, VicLa did realize that he could leave via a flash, but Nature's Grasp is still going to connect, even though he buffered the Justice Punch very, very well. Still, this is a very sticky Maokai, and the Polymorph comes on down a very dead Galio now, as Ben is the one to pick that one up.
Yep, going to be able to get that kill. Diable going to try to push in mid, but Knight has already cleared out the wave. So it's just going to be the trade on top side. Clear going to be trying to knock down that tower, and will not be an objective bounty as that has fallen, but is going to be some more gold going into their pockets, trying to keep Clear relevant because he's going to have to be able to answer Yorick eventually in these side lanes. Here's TP.
Yeah, BLG making their way up. Going to leave Shelly in that bottom lane. She's the one that's split pushing now as Knight gets over. Looks for them distortion damage as Ben trying to get on in there as Shun. That Bramble Smash was massive. The Maiden, the only one hit by the hostile takeover as Shun not really getting a whole lot done with that wild growth thanks to On. As now Diable doing his best to get the DPS numbers high, but the rest of his team are just getting obliterated. However, we're trying to make our way out is VicLa, but not able to heroically exit that one. The Winds of War from the grave helping out as now Diable tries to stand his ground, but it does not work. And they just eviscerate them. BLG A huge team fight towards the top side, and once again, there is a Baron waiting for them.
Right by the Baron. They're going to knock this down as well. That fight was a mess from BFX here. As Diable, he got Glasc going over the wall. I'm not sure if that was intentional. It looked like they were kind of hesitating there. He got knocked away from his team. And then the hostile takeover from Kellin is thrown only at Bin, only hits the Maiden, when all of BLG were running up a tight corridor right to the side of him.
I feel like there was a better opportunity to use that ability. Let's have a look at it one more time.
Yeah, so I mean, early on, it's going to be a tough fight, right? Diable has already been chunked out. Raptor flashes over the wall. This is where, why is the hostile takeover not to the right?
Yeah, that angle is so weird.
And why, did that Glasc get hurt early, and knocking out Diable makes it so tough. I think it's going to be a very difficult fight regardless, but they would have had a much better chance if they were together and if that hostile takeover was thrown to the right instead of off to the side there. On then flashes in with the polymorph. Diable tries to use the flash to outplay Knight. They can't quite take him down. He went down to a sub 100 health before the heal came through. But at the end of the day, it is another BLG win here. They're going to grab the Dragon, move to Soul Point. And this one feels all but wrapped up for BLG, which would set us up for Silver Scrapes here in the opener at
Day one, game one, and we get Silver Scrapes. Absolutely incredible. We've already had a pentakill, double quadra kills, and we get Silver Scrapes. That would be exactly what we're looking for.
All kinds of stuff. We've
BLG,
had the year of VicLa. We've had...
Oh, man, it's been the year of just greatness. Maybe that's what we can call it. As, yeah, there's a bit of a chunk towards the end there, but otherwise a very linear gold graph here for BLG.
Well, they got tired of beating them up for a little bit. Like,
yeah,
you know what? All right, we'll sit down. We'll take a breather.
There was a pit stop in there at some point.
Ouch.
All right, yeah, that's a lot of damage out of Viper as Kellin throws out the hostile takeover. VicLa trying to look menacing. That may keep his bottom lane alive, but maybe not for long as they do manage to avoid the Nature's Grasp. But yeah, clear not exactly so lucky.
He just flashed into the Nature's Grasp.
Yeah, kind of broke my brain.
I'm not sure if he was trying to like block that for VicLa or what he was thinking, but
yeah, was it heroism? It might have been heroism.
It was attempted heroism. We'll go like that.
It didn't work, as the inner turret will now be taken down. It is just clear that's dead, but the health bars were way too low, so BLG will be able to just push this one in.
Kind of like that movie, you know, watching a movie and someone sacrifices themselves, and you're like, you all could have just left.
Yeah, like,
you're fine. like, no, I'll stay behind. Like,
and they spent 15 minutes having the last conversation. It's like, dude, just get on the plane.
We can leave at any time. No one has to die here. No, I'll do it. I love you.
Oh, it's so dramatic.
Yeah.
All right. Some of those are beautiful moments, though. Let's have a look, see whether BLG are going to have their moment as they look to push in a couple of lanes. Handshake is going to connect. That's decent, but the problem is there's not a whole lot of options here as Knight can just dash in with impunity. And Diable, he's within kill range here. If Knight ever gets in range, that is just a dead Yunara, and then BNK's composition just falls apart.
It does, and we'll see if they're going to be able to find any way into this. It doesn't really feel like there's a realistic chance, though. They don't have any sort of real hard engage. I do think that the Renata has really struggled to find value. Clear going to try to look here for Viper.
All right, bit of a gargoyle delivery here as VicLa comes on in as well, but they don't find too much joy with the knockups as Viper is just kiting Clear out of the way, and he just dies. The wild growth is fantastic there as well as BLG front to back as they put them down again. It's a triple here, make it a quadra for Viper this time as he has finally arrived at First Hand 2026, and BLG will deliver us some Silver Scrapes, the very first best of 5, and we go the distance here as the Nexus will go down.
Absolute banger series, starting it off, your LCK, LPL, 5 games.
That's
We're going the distance.
And BLG looking absolutely incredible while they did it as well.